So MIT is one of the dream schools for many students around the world. And getting into MIT is not easy. For the fall 2023 intake, they have received more than 24,000 applications for 1,100 spots. So the acceptance rate was just about 4.6%. In India, there are so many students who want to go to MIT, but only 100 get the opportunity each year. That's about 0.08% of the total applicants. So you can imagine how difficult it is to get into MIT. So in this video, I'm going to talk about 3 things that will help you to get into your dream school, MIT. First, let me show you what the admission process looks like at MIT. After that, we will deep dive into all these boxes and understand what exactly admissions officers are looking for. Finally, I will also share a few tips on how you can improve your profile to become more competitive. The first box here is academics. This includes your high school grades, your standardized test scores, and also your curriculum. The second box here is extracurricular activities. It talks about leadership, initiative, commitment, collaboration, and also teamwork. The third box here is awards and honors. And finally, the last box talks about application components such as essays, recommendations, and also interviews. Let's start with academics first. If you look at the middle 50% of the admitted students, their SAT score is between 1460 to 1580 out of 1600. So the average SAT score is around 1520. And if you look at the ACT, it is between 32 to 35. Now, compared to other universities, these scores are pretty high. But remember one thing, MIT does not have any minimum requirements. So even if you have lower scores, you can still apply. And MIT is need blind. So once you get in, you will receive financial aid if you need it. But remember one thing, the competition to get into MIT is so high that if you do not have good grades or test scores, it will be difficult to get into MIT. Now let's talk about curriculum. Most of the applicants to MIT are in STEM, which is science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. When you apply to MIT, you must choose one major out of the 30-plus options. You can choose from aerospace engineering, aeronautics, and astronautics, anthropology, applied biology, biology brain and cognitive sciences, chemical engineering, chemistry, civil and environmental engineering, computer science and engineering economics, electrical engineering computer, engineering sciences, general course global studies, health sciences and technology materials, science and engineering mathematics, mechanical engineering microbiology, molecular biology, music neurobiology, philosophy, physics, political science, psychology, public policy, science, technology, and society, and finally theater arts. So while most of the students choose STEM subjects, you can choose anything from the list. You don't necessarily need to choose something that is STEM-related. Coming to class 11th and 12th, most of the applicants come from an AP or IB curriculum. There are a few students who come from the CBSE board, but that's a very small percentage. So if you are coming from the CBSE board, it is okay, but try to take as many AP classes as possible. AP Government, AP History, AP Physics, AP Math, AP Biology, AP Chemistry, etc. These courses are recognized by MIT. If you are from the ICSE board, then it is fine. And if you are from the state board, then please make sure to take up science and math till class 12th. Now, when you apply to MIT, you will have to take 2 standardized tests. One is SAT, and the other is SAT subject tests. Please note that ACT is not accepted by MIT, so you will have to write SAT, which is basically a common entrance exam for all the colleges and universities in the U.S. And when you write SAT, there is no need to take SAT subject tests. The SAT has 2 sections. The first section is evidence-based reading and writing. Here you will be given a passage, and based on that passage, questions will be asked. You will also have to write an essay. In the second section, which is math, you will be given 54 questions and you will have to answer them in 80 minutes. You will not have a calculator for the first 30 questions. These questions are mostly based on algebra, geometry, and some trigonometry. The last 24 questions you can use a calculator. These questions are mostly from algebra and some from coordinate geometry. The total score of SAT varies from 400 to 1600. 400 is the lowest possible score and 1600 is the highest possible score. As I said earlier, the middle 50% of the admitted students is between 1460 to 1580. Moving on to the second box, which is extracurricular activities. When you're applying to universities, especially universities like MIT, they're not only looking for someone who is academically strong, but they're also looking for individuals who are well-rounded. They want to see what else you do apart from studies, what kind of hobbies you have. Have you participated in any competitions? Have you won any medals? Have you volunteered somewhere? So this is very important. Try to participate in as many extracurricular activities as possible. And here I would like to share one story with you. One of my batchmates during my master's in the US, he got into MIT. He was a bright student, and he was very hard-working. He scored very good marks in his bachelor's. He had a very good research experience. He had done summer courses at Stanford University. He had also interned at Microsoft Research. He had a very good GMAT score. His GMAT score was 760. But when he applied to MIT, he did not get in through the first round. He kept checking the portal and he saw that his application was incomplete because they were waiting for something. They wanted to see his portfolio. He had mentioned that he used to code in his free time, and he had built some software for non-profit organizations. He had not yet sent the link to those websites, so he quickly sent those links, and immediately he received an admit card. So you never know what might work for you. So please make sure that whenever you're building your resume, you do not leave anything out. Include everything. Mention every single thing that you have done. You never know what might help you get into your dream school. Now let's talk about awards and honors. When I say awards and honors, I do not only mean that you should win a gold medal or represent your country at an international competition. It could be as simple as being in the honor roll in your school. If you have been appreciated by your teachers, if you have won a small competition at the school level or at the state level, mention all of that. If you have participated in Olympiads, please make sure to mention that. If you have won any medals, please mention that. If you have been awarded a scholarship, please mention that. Remember one thing? When you're applying to MIT or any university for that matter, you're competing with the best of the best students. So you must have something that makes you stand out. You must have some achievements that make you different from the rest of the crowd. Finally, let's talk about the application component. MIT wants to know you as a person. They want to see who are you. What are your hobbies? Why do you want to study abroad? Why do you want to join MIT? So that's the reason they ask you to submit an application. And this application has 4 components. Number 1 is the personal statement. Number 2 is the resume or CV. Number 3 is letters of recommendation. And finally, number 4 is the interview. Let's talk about the personal statement first. The personal statement is like your elevator pitch. It's the first impression that you will give to the admissions officer. So make sure that your personal statement is well written and edited. You must highlight your achievements, your awards, your leadership skills, your passions, and your goals. And this personal statement can be about anything that you want. It could be about your childhood. It could be about a hobby. It could be about an award that you have won. It could be about a travel experience. It could be about anything that has changed your perspective in life. It could be about something that you're passionate about. The second component is your resume or CV. Your resume or CV must include all the activities that you have done. It must include your education, your work experience, your research experience, your leadership roles, everything. Keep it concise. Don't make it too long. 1 page is fine, 2 pages maximum. Make sure that you edit it well and you highlight all the important points. The third component is letters of recommendation. MIT requires 2 letters of recommendation from your teachers. These teachers can be from your school or college or university. Make sure that you ask your teachers well in advance and you give them enough time to write that letter. Also, always ask your teachers after you have completed the course. Once they have taught you, and once they know you better, then they will be able to write a better letter. Ask your teachers in your sophomore or junior year so that they have enough time and they also remember you better. Finally, the 4th component is the interview. The interview is conducted by ed officials and it can be conducted in person or online. Unfortunately, there is no way to schedule an interview. Admissions officers reach out to candidates whose applications are complete, and they ask them to attend an interview. The interview is not mandatory. You can skip the interview. You will not be penalized for skipping the interview, but you will be at a disadvantage because most of the students do attend the interview. It lasts for about 30 minutes, and it is mostly conversational. You will be asked about your academic interests, your career goals, why do you want to apply to MIT, and what will you do after graduation, etc. So these are the 4 components of your application, and you must focus on all of these 4 components. So before you end this video, please make sure to subscribe to my channel so that I can keep you updated about all the latest deadlines and admission processes. You can also follow me on Instagram, where I keep posting tips and tricks related to studying abroad. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out. Thank you, and all the best.